How's it going, Reef Keepers? I am back at the school whose reef tank I take care of every week, just maintain for them. And I wanted to talk about the very cost-effective and simple way that I went about powering this tank. So this power strip back here is just a black metal heavy-duty power strip with lighted switches that allow each socket on it to be controlled manually, of course. And there's no frills, no Bluetooth connectivity, no Wi-Fi, nothing. I do have one Bluetooth like smart plug that I plugged in over on the other side of the tank just to run the calc stir at intervals. But besides that one little hint of complexity, everything else on the tank runs on this one power strip. And it's actually I think a 12 outlet power strip. So for 12 outlets that are all individually controllable on a nice heavy-duty metal power strip, it literally cost $45 on Amazon, and I just went and checked it again, and it's still $45 for this beast. So that's truly all that is needed for a tank like this. A tank that's never gonna have, super complex coral, no acropora, millipora, none of the, nothing crazy, no super unique, there's not gonna be seahorses in this tank. There's not gonna be much other than basically hardy fish and, nothing much more complex than your basic like SPS corals like Duncan's or something like that. So, the other things I did for power in this tank, which are just logical, is you can see how the cords go up because I hung them all up at the top, draped them over a couple nails that I screwed into or a couple of screws that I screwed into the sidewall so that the connection points don't hang down, low. Because one thing I did so that I could easily hit the plugs was buy some real cheap, you can see these black little 1 foot extension cords. So just to keep power bricks from blocking view of the switch, I went ahead and put those all the way down. And those are quite cheap too. I don't know the price offhand, but for standard black 15 amp ones, they're not pricey. It's a frill technically, but I think it's well worth it depending on the placement of the power strip. And then other things I did were, you can see the screws that I put in the sidewall here to get these, power bricks for the lights up off the ground. I think that's pretty important because the lights are not cheap and they're very important to the tank. Also, the power bricks for lights get hotter than just about any other kind of power brick you're gonna have because they're pushing so much energy constantly throughout the course of the on period. So I kept those up out of salt water and also separate so that heat could not build up, and I even tilted them so that there's a little bit of space between it and the wall so like no heat can build up. And then you can see their bow controller, their little return pump controller, and their skimmer controller. I just logically put those all near the front so that they could, easily be controlled if I ever needed to do anything with them. But truly, that is the extent of what power control and just power in general needs to be on a reef tank. You see I put some labels on this, and that is extra effort, but I suggest doing it. You could even get a little scrap of paper and a piece of tape and write on those little scraps of paper and put them on there, just shorthand, so that and just can go ahead and manually flip switches and be confident in what they are. But for a budget reef tank, an affordable, simple setup, this is all it needs to be. $45 power strip, maybe a couple of, just ease of use frills if you want to go there. It doesn't need to be more than that. This tank is running super happy, everything's thriving. I'm over here cleaning it right now and, happy fat fish in there, corals waving in the current. So I'm telling you, this is as much as it truly needs to be, despite how complex my system is at home, which you guys have all seen. This is really it. This will run a reef tank. So, all right, if you guys are enjoying the series, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Thanks.